All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of Wichita Paramotor Coast to Coast. We're so glad to have you, and we're brought to you by Can Cook America, Light Flight, and JDW Printing and Beyond. So, we're going to have a pretty good show to hear. I've got my beautiful co host, JL, with me today, and we are going to talk about FAR 103. So if you're new, to getting into paramotor and you want to learn more, also your can'ts, can do's, and can wills, um, this is going to be the show for you. So again, this is Wichita Paramotor Coast to Coast, where we talk about paramotor things with paramotor people about paramotor stuff. All right, here we go. There's my beautiful co-host, and we are going to talk about FAR 103. Now, um, it is the fundamentals of what we do and how we fly, where we can fly, what the FAA decides what we can and can't do, what defines an ultralight and a paramotor, and all the little information that we kind of got to follow to make sure we do things right and keep it safe for everybody else. So FAR 103 can be, it can seem a little complicated like airspace and whatnot, but it's super simple. And I've got basically the class that I do for new people geared up here. So we'll kind of go through it. It's, I don't know, probably about 10 or 15 slides. And we will, you know, discuss, talk about. Now, don't be afraid to show up in the comment section if you have any questions today about FAR 103. Please reach out. We'll be monitoring the comments and see what we can answer for you. Now, FAR 103 isn't meant to hold us down. In fact, it's the other way around. It gives us more freedom on everything that we can do. Um, with a paramotor, you can fly 90% of the US. Mostly we fly in Class E and Class G, and I'll probably do a airspace class or an airspace presentation at some point. But we have A, B, C, D, E, and G, and we fly in E and G. I like to say G is for ground because it's the closest to the ground, and E is for everyone. So everybody flies in E at some point, but that's basically where we're at. Now, Class A, you'll never get into it. It's 18,000 feet. You can't even safely fly that high, and that's where all the commercial stuff is. And then Class B, I like to say it's busy. So a lot of your commercial airports, airliners, stuff like that, flying Class B. C is commercial. So again, it's a lot of airliners, it's a lot of cargo planes, that kind of thing. D, we call it dialogue for military. And you don't fly in military airspace. You're never going to get permission for it. It's never going to happen.
Yes.
And then again, E is for everyone, and G is ground. So that'll give you kind of an idea when they start talking about airspace here. Um, Also, something to define real quick. You're going to see in FAR 103, we're not aircraft. We don't have tail numbers. We don't have transponders. We do not have anything that actually makes us like an airplane. We're an ultralight vehicle, which makes that kind of easy. Being an ultralight kind of gives us a lot of freedom and a lot less restrictions. So, without further ado, let's go check out FAR 103. So, FAR 103 only exists to protect people on the ground and in the air. FAA loosely, and I mean loosely, defines hazardous. So don't be low-hanging fruit. We can't fly in a hazardous way. Also, FAA will impose new regulations if we do not do the right things. And if we do, we'll always have input on how that happens. They respect us. They don't want to mess with us, but they respect us, and they'll, get our input when it comes to new regulations and new things. Our conduct is everything. Paramotor community is largely self-regulated, and again, we want to keep it that way. We watch out for each other. We make sure that we are doing the right things, and if we see somebody not doing the right things, we are quick to inform them or help them with the rules. Generally we don't want to do that by being an ass, but at the same time, other people's conduct affects us. And FAR 103 is, again, there to keep us safe and keep others safe. So we don't want to, jeopardize what we've got when it comes to paramotors. Because I tell people this all the time, we are the freest form of flight.
Absolutely.
We can go anywhere, and except for the airspaces that I mentioned. And even some of those airspaces, you can do it with permission. So we want to keep that as free as possible. So real quick, let's talk about the do nots. So we do not get paid to fly. And real quick, let me explain that. So somebody can't pay you to fly over the football game or to fly over the family reunion with a banner or just for fun or whatever. On top of that, somebody can't buy you equipment like a wing, put a logo on it, and then ask you to fly in a certain place at a certain time. Because that's, again, still considered getting paid to fly.
Yeah.
So what you can do is somebody buys you a wing with a logo, go fly it wherever you want, when you want, as long as you don't receive money. You can't get paid to fly over their events or advertise for them. So,
right.
the other thing I want to mention is tandems. Now, a lot of people charge for a tandem class. They're not actually charging to put somebody in the air.
They're not charging for the tandem ride or the tandem flight.
Yeah, they're just charging.
They're charging for the instruction
and the class that goes on before they actually fly or after they fly.
Yeah.
And again, what they're paying for, they might get to fly. It's no guarantee. So, big thing is we can't receive money to operate a paramotor in any fashion. And the big deal is they don't want it commercial. If
right.
we commercialize it, there's going to be a whole new set of rules. And we don't like rules.
We'd like to stay the freest form
yeah.
of flight, so we try to avoid breaking what rules we have so they don't make new rules for us to try to follow.
I don't want new rules. So, again, we can't get paid to fly. Now, the other thing, and this is simple, we can't get in the way of other aircraft. So, basically, it's see and avoid, because we are VFR, which is visual flight reference. So we can't get in the way of other aircraft. I do train my students, and a lot of pilots are trained if two aircraft or an aircraft and an ultralight vehicle are coming at each other face to face, both of you turn right and gain altitude.
Yeah.
And that does a couple of things for you. One, turning right gets you the biggest distance, the quickest. And the second thing, if you gain altitude, neither one of you are going to end up in each other's prop wash. Prop wash and wing vortices sink. They don't go up. So for a paramotor, if we get into the prop wash of a regular aircraft, it's a really, really bad day.
Yeah.
And helicopters, don't be anywhere near them ever. Up, down, side, below. They blow air all over the place, and they create just a toxic swirl that is not good for paramotors.
Yeah,
So,
if you're in one of the paramotor groups, you probably saw the video of the guy that he's kiting on the beach, and two military helicopters come by, and he's got his wing, and it's all nice and stable. You can hear the cameraman go, "Let's see how he handles this." And it takes his wing, and it goes back, forward, and then goes whoosh, and just like slams him into the ground. And there's someone else who runs over and starts grabbing anything but A's and pulling all the way until he's got fabric, trying to get him, out of the air, because he honestly, when the copters came by, he probably should have shut down the wing, because
and I've seen the video. It takes, I don't know, three seconds.
yeah, it's a solid. They're out of frame. They're completely out of frame. Like, they come by, and he's just chilling on the beach with got his wing up, and it's all pretty, and he's watching his wing, and they're gone. They've taken off. They've buzzed the beach, and they're off yonder. And then all of a sudden, his wing starts doing this number.
Yeah, stay away from helicopters. So the big thing there is we avoid other aircraft, whether it be at the airport, in the air. Gaggle's actually got a nice feature where it'll warn you when aircraft are in your vicinity.
Yes.
It'll tell you how high they're flying and how far they are away and what direction they're coming from. So,
But gaggle is a tool, but it is not an instrument. You still
That is
need to
correct.
be very aware when you are in the air. You need to use your eyes,
yeah,
because
do not solely rely on Gaggle.
absolutely, gaggle is a phone app, and it's extremely useful in a lot of situations, and this is one of them. But useful doesn't necessarily mean reliable. If you're too far away from an internet signal or something like that, you're going to get delayed information. So you need to use your eyes.
Yeah, always be head on a swivel.
Head on a swivel.
Head on a swivel. So, again, the next thing is we cannot fly over people. So, this means that you can't fly over the family reunion.
You can fly around it.
You can fly around it.
He's
I've
done
that.
it.
But you can't fly over people. You can't fly over outdoor assemblies of persons. And we'll go through this some more, through the presentation here. But you cannot be over people. Like even on the beach, when beach flyers,
Yeah.
they actually fly over the water.
Yeah, they fly out and around the people.
So that way you're not flying over people on the beach. So we don't fly over people. Nice and simple. The other thing is we cannot fly without seeing the ground. Now, this is, it doesn't mean that if there's one cloud in the sky that you can't
Right.
fly. You could have a decent cloud bank below you, but as long as it's broke up a little bit and you can see the ground and get visual reference of where you're at in the sky and where you are concerning, the terrain on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So simple, easy. The next one, this is, just what it is. Can't fly at night. We'll go through it here in a minute, but FAR talks about we can only fly from sunrise to sunset.
Mm-hmm.
But and again, we'll talk about this, but if you have a strobe,
Yeah.
something that makes you visible, you can fly a half hour before sunrise and a half hour after sunset. And again, with the cat's pulling
Come here,
my
Obi.
cord here. Um, the times I get to fly is usually that half hour after. Uh-oh, here he comes. There's the big boy.
There's our chunk.
Yeah,
He
big
knocked
fat
my
guy.
earbud out.
Look at him. He don't want to be on camera. He says,
Yeah,
"I'm
he
not
wants attention, but he doesn't want your attention. He just wants our attention because we're not paying attention to him.
Yeah,
And now he's purring.
Yeah,
I'm sure you can't hear him, but he is purring. I know. No, don't play with that, please. Thank you.
So we are on all inclusive, even to felines here at Wichita Paramotor, coast to coast. So usually my flights are that last half hour between 30 minutes after and sunset, or 30 minutes before and sunrise, because I've got a lot of students on the field. So I spend as much time with them as I possibly can, and then I get to go play.
Yeah.
Like I've had, I don't know, over 100, 150 flights this year, but not one of them I don't think. Well, I've had a couple of half-hour flights. I get lucky, but none of them have been over 10, 15 minutes, because a lot of times I'm up in the air. A lot of times I'm up in the air.
Oh, he's going to
testing
be
the
the
air.
star of today's show.
Testing the air and whatnot. I call them safety flights to make sure they're safe for the new students that I'm going to put up. So we do not fly at night. Now, the other thing is we do not take up passengers. So now I know this sounds counterintuitive because people do tandems, but we'll explain this and it'll make more sense here in a minute. But in a general, you cannot take up a passenger. So if your goal with getting on a paramotor and starting to fly is to take up a family member or something like that, you generally cannot. Now there's a loophole, and we'll talk about that, but it takes a lot of work to get there. So just keep in mind, generally, we can't take up passengers. And so the next part, Part 103 is a set of rules that govern and operate of ultralight vehicles or ultralight aircraft in the United States. These rules apply to both powered and unpowered. So your regular paraglider guys, they have to follow these rules as well. An ultralight vehicle is a single-seat aircraft used for recreational or sport flying. Again, no commercial. An unpowered ultralight vehicle weighs less than 155 pounds, and a powered ultralight vehicle weighs less than 254 pounds. Now, this excludes all of your safety equipment, your floats, your helmets, your reserves, strobe lights,
Right.
you know, all
This
those
is
kinds.
the
This
equipment itself.
This is the core part of the vehicle.
Yeah.
So, you know, you don't have to worry about that stuff when you're doing way out. And the stuff that we fly, it's far below this. So
Oh, yeah.
you don't have to worry about even probably weighing unless you're doing something crazy or flying a giant trike or something
Right.
like that. Or you're carrying
Because
cargo.
mine weighs what, like 45 pounds, 50 pounds maybe?
I think yours is about 48 pounds.
Yeah. So I'm nowhere near 254 pounds.
Mine's 56 dry weight with no fuel, no reserve, anything like that. So the other thing is we cannot carry more than 5 gallons of fuel. And, you know, I try to explain this to people and, you know, they're like, why? Well, a couple of reasons. One, it keeps us local.
Yeah.
So we are not, I think he's done.
I think so. Hold on. Let me get you. All right. There you go.
Bumped his head on the mic on his way out.
There he goes.
And then he comes right back.
Yeah, and then he turns right around. So
So,
it's Daddy's turn to get petted.
yeah, but I'm not picking him up. One of the reasons is it keeps us local. So
Yeah.
other agencies, stuff like that, we don't get way out, get stranded in a crazy place and have to get rescued. It just keeps us local to our LZ, and that's a good thing. You know, when you start doing XC flights and getting out and you don't have support, like a follow chase vehicle or something like that, it can get kind of scary. So
Yeah. And XC, he means cross country, so longer flights.
yeah, and so we don't, you know, again, can't carry more than 5 gallons of fuel. The other reason is, and this is a horrible explanation, but if you were to crash, you can only spew 5 gallons of fire everywhere, not 20. And for firefighters and rescue crews and stuff like that, I mean, we did the video of that guy
The guy who caught on fire
caught
in the
on
air.
fire. Could you imagine if he had 20 gallons of fuel?
Yeah.
You know, that 5 gallons. And most of the times, I thought I fly with about 4 liters. Same thing with you.
Yeah.
You know,
Fuel is heavy.
yeah, it's 6.8 pounds per gallon, I think. So
Or
it's,
something like that.
yeah, so it's, we don't, get out of my cords, dude.
Cat.
Um,
Go Obi.
So we, only carrying 5 gallons of fuel is kind of important. And it keeps it's just a safety factor. It keeps everybody safer, keeps everybody on the ground safer, and, again, keeps us close to the LZ. So now, operating rules.
Mm-hmm.
Ultralight vehicles, ultralights must operate during daylight hours and in good visibility. So again, you know, there's little loopholes there that we can use, but we are daytime flyers. Can't see at night. We don't have IFR. Runway lights don't mean anything when you can't see the power lines. So we only fly in the daytime.
Yep.
Now, the other thing is I was talking about airspace, we can only fly in and operate in uncontrolled airspace. So that is E and G.
Yeah.
You know, there's no towers, there's nobody watching E and G. And it's, excuse me, it's one of the reasons why we get so much freedom.
Yeah.
Also, ultralights must not create a hazard to other people or property. Remember in the first frame that the FAA loosely defines hazardous. Don't be that low-hanging fruit. Don't do something stupid. And again, like I always say, if you're going to do something stupid, don't record it and put it on YouTube.
Or anything else online. Just don't put it. Just don't.
Yeah.
Owl kicker.
Owl kicker. Yeah, and we want to, you know, keep other people safe. So, and this also means people's livestock and stuff like that. Don't be flying over somebody's cows or horses. I know an incident where, and this is considered hazardous, a paramotor flew low over a little farm.
Mm-hmm.
The horses absolutely freaked out, took off running, ran themselves into the fence. And, you know, cuts, bruises, broken bones. I
Yeah.
think one horse even had to be put down.
That's what I heard.
But-
That's- if it's the same one I'm thinking of.
You know, the same thing with people's cows. You know, don't be flying over people's cows and scaring them. Don't be low flying over people's houses that you don't know. You
Yeah.
know,
Now, like, for us, where we fly, we're in the air capital of the world. So, just over the city of Wichita, the airspace is congested. And that's putting it lightly. We have the Eisenhower Mid-Continent Airport. We have McConnell Air Force Base. We have Jabara Airport. We have the Cessna Test Flight Airport. We have the Beechcraft Test Flight Airport. We have the Boeing Test Flight Airport. So if you want to fly in Wichita, no. That's the answer. The answer is no. So we go a little bit outside of town and we get out of all those airspaces and we get into where we fly as G, isn't it?
G&E.
G&E. So it's a little rural town, and directly across the road from our airfield is, from the Norwich Municipal Airport, is cattle farms. And the cows are fairly bulletproof because we're not the only ones using the airport, and it's right next to a highway, so there's a lot of noise. But
Oh yeah, they're troopers. They don't even look up anymore.
oh, the other day I think they really like him. The other day he was getting ready to take off, and there's two cows just watching. They're
All
like
over the
across
fence.
they're like across the road. They're in their pen. They're fine. They're watching very intently to watch him get his wing up and take off. And that's a factor. Like that day that I motored out, that was a factor, was knowing which farms had cows, because I don't want to land where the cows are.
Yeah, and you stress them out. You know, a
Yeah.
lot of these people that are have livestock, it's farming, it's commercial. They need that livestock to do
Right.
something.
That's money on hooves.
And you know, you stress their animals out. Like one time, and this is a little bit negative, but not too bad. When we were flying at another field up in Garden Plain,
Mm-hmm.
our instructor and field master got contacted by a farmer, and he is raising high-end Wagyu,
Oh yeah.
and he sells them for meat. And stress hormones make meat taste bad.
It really does. It's gross.
So cows were running and whatnot. One of our pilots was flying too low, scared the cows, and it ticked this guy off, and he come and let us know. Now he wasn't mean, he wasn't rude, but he was very direct. Do not scare my cows, and which is justified. You
Sure,
know?
that's fair.
We're flying for our own reasons, and we do not need to impose that on anybody else. And scaring somebody's livestock, again, could be considered hazardous. So that's why,
And that extends to wildlife too. There's
absolutely,
at the runway where we fly, we normally don't take up the whole runway because it's like a mile long. So that would be one heck of a trek from the hangar. But there at the end of that is some fairly prime hunting ground. And I think it was you that was flying one day, and he's he goes up and he follows the runway down in the air, and I think you were foot dragging the runway or something. Foot dragging the runway for as long as possible and just kind of buzzing around up and above. Well, we get a gentleman comes up and he's in like full gear, and he's like, "Hey, was that you guys flying down there?" And we were like, "Yeah, is everything okay?" He's like, "You scared my deer."
yeah.
So he was in a tree stand
Yeah.
waiting for the deer and the noise of the paramotor coming off. And it was coming from the airfield, so he wasn't upset. He actually thought it was kind of cool because he'd never seen paramotors before, but he was super cool about it, but it spooked the deer. And I don't know if you actually even saw the deer that you spooked, because
I
it
don't
was
think
just
so.
the noise and the wind and it's something that the animals themselves aren't used to. And again, it extends to wildlife.
Yeah.
Owl kicker.
Oh, okay.
Don't
Don't
mess with animals. Just
Yeah.
don't. Okay?
Don't
Not in
harass
anything,
the
not in
wildlife.
paramotor, not
I
in
mean,
anything.
You can chase a deer with your paramotor and literally run it to death.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this hunter, once I got up there and started looking, there's blinds all over that back side of the runway where we fly.
Mm-hmm.
And, also that's seasonal.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
that was
we know about
during hunting season, so
August, September, the archers come out for archery hunting.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, those are the guys that, you know, a rifle, you can reach out and touch something 300 yards, but not with a bow.
Yeah.
So they rely on the calmness of those animals to be able to make their harvest. So that's seasonal, you know, wherever you're at, you can kind of figure that out when the hunters are going to be at. But, you know, again, don't harass the wildlife. We want to keep everybody just as happy as possible, and that includes the animals and whatnot. So don't be hazardous to what you're doing. Oh, one thing I want to mention about hazardous. Poor Tucker Gott.
Oh, I know.
This guy, you know, he creates great content. By the way, Tuck, if you're ever watching, we absolutely love you. I send all my students your way to your videos and whatnot.
Most of them find their way into paramotor
I
because
swear,
of Tucker Gott.
90%
Yeah.
of the students we get are interested because the first thing they saw was a Tucker Gott video, including me. So
I'm in the 10% because
she found it with us.
I found it because he was like, oh my god, I want to do this.
She was annoyed. I watched paramotor videos for 2 years.
3 years.
And
For like 3 years.
that's all I watched.
Non-stop.
Was Tucker and some of the other guys, but mainly Tuck.
I'm like, you want to watch a movie? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna finish this video. I'm like, dude, really? Really? Seriously? You just watch the movie, please?
Yeah. So, poor Tucker, and this is kind of a messed up situation. And it's also, you got to watch for people out there. You think you're doing the right thing, and you'll still tick somebody off, and they'll make a call. So Tucker posts a video of him and his buddies chasing toilet paper. So they took toilet paper up in the air, they released the rolls, and they would go chase it and kick it around and that kind of thing to, you know, kind of have some fun in the air, kind of like dolphins playing with a puffer fish. And he posted the video, and I want to say it was within a week of it being posted. Somebody who wasn't there, didn't see the situation, had nothing to do with the field that he was flying over or the people that were flying with him, call the FAA. Well, the FAA is like the police. If they get a complaint, they have to investigate and follow through so they can close the case. So he gets this call from the FAA, and he had to go through an investigation, whether it be small or large, but he had to go through an investigation to prove him kicking toilet paper wasn't hazardous. Now, they cleaned up every sheet.
Yeah. They even before the FAA got called, they did their video, and then they landed, and they went and they cleaned up every bit of shrapnel of powdered toilet paper they'd left behind.
Yeah, and they didn't have any impact to the environment. They had a blast, and somebody still called on them. Again, if you're going to do something stupid, don't put it on the internet.
And if you do put it on the internet, do it like Tucker does, where everything was cleaned up, there was no harm, no foul, they had permissions, it was not this spur of the moment, let's go TP a whole neighborhood by doing about 9 things that paramotors aren't supposed to be doing.
Right. So, again, that could be considered hazardous. And that goes into our next part here. Pilots must not drop objects from ultralights that can create a hazard. Back to the toilet paper. Now, like, one of the things I'll do, and I kind of quit doing it, but we get the little parachute guys.
Yeah.
You know, and I used to keep a couple of them in my chest pack with, on the little dude, I would put my card and a candy bar. And if I saw somebody pulled over or something or out in the field watching us fly, I'd swoop down, drop a little parachute guy, and go about my way. Now, this isn't hazardous, but one of the times that, you know, what made me stop doing it is we were flying next to a highway. People would stop along the highway. What if my parachute guy went and landed in the road? And that person that wants to get the parachute guy runs out into the road to get the candy bar and the parachute guy, gets hit by a car.
Ow. Mike's a little hot for you to be clapping. I'm just saying.
I made my point. And they get smacked by a car or a truck. That would be hazardous.
Yeah, or if it landed on someone's windshield because of a wind change close to the ground, or
Right.
well, that, and the city of Norwich asked us to prevent people from parking on the side of the road.
Yeah, because they're on a small highway. It's only 2-lane, and there's not much of a shoulder.
No.
So even that could be considered hazardous, because now, you know, those people can cause an obstruction to the roadway,
Sure.
that kind of thing.
And those
even
little-
them sitting and watching.
Yeah, and those little parachute guys are really common in the sport. Everybody flies. A lot of people drop them out. At Endless Foot Drag, there's an event where all the kids go out and the guys drop parachute guys with candy, and they drop them, and then the kids run out and try to catch them.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's in certain situations that's certainly fine. In the way that in the situation you were in, where we've got spectators parked along the road that shouldn't, that really isn't designed, doesn't have a shoulder, it's not designed for parking along the road. That could have created a hazard, so it was best to stop doing that.
Yeah, and you know, like at EFD, we had Landon March on the show last week. Great guy, absolutely fantastic show. Go check it out. But they do a sock drop. So
Yeah.
they take socks, like for your feet, fill them with beans, tie them off. They paint a giant target on the ground. And paramotors at a certain height, you have to, I think it's 100 feet or something like that.
Yeah.
They fly over and drop these socks, trying to get closest to the target. Now that's not hazardous, because everybody knows what they're doing. It's expected, it's set up for, and it's cleaned up. So again,
Yeah.
do not drop objects.
It's just about being
From-
smart about what you're doing. Like, we get a
Common
lot.
sense.
Absolutely. And you could still drop the little guys, just not to the spectators along the road, because we get a lot of families that will come out to the airport, and we always invite them. It's always free to come watch. And we get a lot of families that will come out, and there's one dad in particular
Yes.
that when he has the
Yes.
kids, he's got 4 kids, they're all little, and he'll just back his truck up to face the airfield, and the
He
kids
puts
are
a
all,
lawn chair for
Yeah.
himself in the back of the truck.
yeah, passes out sandwiches, so all the kids got like kind of picnic fixins, and they hang out with us and they tailgate. So, like, maybe that's something we can do in the future. Is we just do a little, and you can drop them there close to the parking lot part
Yes.
of the. It's all grass. The parking lot's grass. The airfield's grass. It's all grass, but close to where the parking is, so the kids could be in the field without actually being in the way, because most of us don't fly that close to the parking. There's some logistics there that just don't.
It's a good 60 yards off.
Yeah.
So, and to that guy, I'm not going to mention your name, but I got to talk to you last week. We love that you come out, and something was so cute. I told him, I said, you are more than welcome. You do not have to stay back here at your truck. You are more than welcome to bring those kids, come up and sit in lawn chairs and hang out. I just want you to keep the kids close when it comes to running motors. And he says, I really appreciate the invitation, but we've got more manners to learn. Because he's got a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Yeah, and I think it's 2 boys, 2 girls. Is that right?
No, I saw
Or is
one
it-
boy and 3 girls.
That's what it's. So it's 1 boy and 3 girls. And when I first started flying, I saw them out there, and of course I walked over and said hi, and the girls were just, I'm gonna fly when I get bigger. I was like, excellent. I'll see you there.
Yeah, I
We'll
told
see you there.
I told the oldest, the boy is the oldest and he's 13. And I asked him, do you have a farm license? And he says, oh, I get it next year. And I said, okay, well, a driver's license is kind of what I'm looking for because it means that you know what you can and can't do. And, you know, not to be scary, but you understand life and death. If you do this, it could be really bad.
Right,
And
right.
he's like, really, I could fly next year? Absolutely. So
If your dad says it's okay.
I've got a student as young as 16 right now.
Yeah,
You know, and his dad is supported, his dad signed all the waivers, and his dad is training too.
his dad's training with him, so.
You know, and they're using this as a bonding thing, but,
Well, and then there's the lady with the two little boys
yep,
that she was like, this is where I live, so if you guys want to just buzz over the house anytime, you're more than welcome. So, and then one day we were all out there, and a baseball game had been canceled.
yep,
And so, you know, it must have been like 9 or 10 kids in baseball uniforms, and they're all just like, whoa. And it was all like their whole families because everybody had gone to the game, and then the game got called. So it was kind of fun to,
they came and watched us.
yeah. Yeah, and we always, if you're in the Wichita area, when we're out at the Norwich Municipal Airport, we post on our Facebook page. If you want more direct details, you can contact us, and we will contact you directly and say, hey, we're going to be out at the field, 3 days from now or whatever. And but you're always welcome. It's always free. It's always free to watch. If you happen to be driving by and you see the white pickup with the really badly messed up dry erase board that says free to watch, that's what we mean. So feel free to come in, and we like to hang out with people.
Yeah. So just to go back on that, you know, we kind of got off topic there.
Yeah, oops.
But you cannot drop things from a paramotor that could cause a hazard. And this is fireworks and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
do believe you can shoot from a paramotor because it's not an aircraft, but I would check your local laws and stuff like that to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on, we talked about you cannot take up a passenger. Well, here's the loophole for that. So tandems requires an FAA exemption. And what that means is you have to qualify as a tandem pilot. So that's why people that are looking to get into paramotors so they can take up a friend or family, that's why that's not going to work. You basically have to go all the way to instructor and then apply for a FAA exemption. And they're not easy to get. Taking up another life is important to be very safe and keep yourself.
It's a responsibility
Yeah,
that you need to
absolutely.
take serious.
Absolutely, we don't want to kill anybody. Alker. We want to keep people safe. Now, also, this is issued by the US PPA or the ASC. And USPPA is the United States Powered Paragliding Association. We'll go check out their website here in a little bit. And the ASC, Aerosports Connection. These are the organizations that offer tandems, and they have gone through.
That offer FAA tandem instructor and tandem waivers.
Yes. And they have gone through and, qualified with the FAA to be able to do so. So there's a big structure behind this. Also, it's for instructional purposes only. So you can't just go fly for fun. Somebody has to learn something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very important. And that's why we talk about, a lot of times we'll do a class, or a lot of people that do tandems will do a class before they take somebody up.
Yeah.
And then they'll have an exercise while they're in the air to make it instructional, and that's very important. These must be renewed every 2 years. And that's to keep the pilots frosty. It's very important. And any regulation changes, you can comply, having to redo every 2 years. Now,
Right.
you can be exempt from any FAA regulations if you obtain a waiver from the FAA. You need to apply for them for at least 30 days before performing any actions that require exemptions. Now, a little story about that. We fly around Norwich, Kansas. The beautiful people at Norwich approached me and asked if I could. They were doing like a Norwich Days, and they asked if I could fly over downtown and drop ping pong balls with numbers on them for a ping pong lottery for the kids. I was pretty excited about this. I thought, oh, this is going to be a blast. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I went and looked at the situation, and I would have to fly over people. I'd have to fly over town. And, those two things right there, I have to get an exemption for. So I contacted my local FAA administrator, and she was fantastic, a lot of fun. Really nice gal, down to earth. And these people they're people like you and me. They're not there to impose a bunch of regulations and yell at us and whatnot. They're there to keep us safe and to keep everybody around us safe. That's their biggest concern. They really don't give two squats about us. Go kill yourself. But,
Right.
But their big goal is to keep people where we're flying safe and without harm. So I called her and I said, hey, I want to, apply for these exemptions. She goes, okay, well, tell me what you're doing. I said, all right, I told her. She says, where's that? And I told her, and she pulled it up on Google Earth. And she's like, you want to do what? I said, I want to fly over the middle of town, down Main Street, and drop ping pong balls. And she went quiet, and she looked for a second, and she come back, and it was kind of funny the way she said it. She said, not no, but hell no. And I giggled, and I was like, why, what's up? And she goes, well, I'm just looking at the power lines. You have no motor out. And she's like, how high do you plan to fly? And I figured it was probably 75 feet, 50 feet, so I was close enough that the ping pong balls landed where we wanted them,
Right.
and they didn't spread out a big way. She goes, absolutely not. And she explained the process to me of applying. She goes, you can try, but I'll tell you right now, we're not going to approve this. And I said, okay. So I went back to the people of Norwich, and again, great people. We love Norwich. I said, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do it. So we didn't get to drop ping pong balls. But
Yeah.
that's an example of where you would go get or look for an exemption. Do it right, folks. And again, 30 days before performing any action that requires it. So you can get a exemption to fly over the football game. You can't just do it because you want to, but if you work with your local FAA administrator, they will be glad to help you. They'll be tickled you called and look for doing it right, because most people don't. I promise you'll get a good reception when it comes to the FAA.
Yeah.
Just do it right. So, again, you can get through any FAA regulation as long as you get a waiver. So, going on to the next part. Now, this is where we become an ultralight vehicle and not an aircraft. An ultralight vehicle, you are not required to meet any airworthiness certificate. Nobody has to inspect your stuff, anything like that. You don't have to be inspected. You don't have to maintain a certain mechanical standard, which is, for some people, is kind of scary. I don't know if you've ever watched those videos of foreign countries and some of the stuff they fly. Like, that's pretty scary. Now, the other thing is there's no age restrictions or medical requirements. You don't have to pass the physical, and you don't have to be a certain age. Now, your instructor might decide that, there's an age limit, and that's what is good for them. But as the FAA requires, you can be 80 or you can be 3. It doesn't matter. No age restrictions. We're also not required to bear any markings of any kind. And we do not need to be registered with the FAA. So you don't have to have a tail number, you don't have to have a transponder, you don't have to have any ID on your wing, anything like that. Again, that's one of the reasons why we are as free as it gets. Other aircraft are, subject to so many rules and regulations. We are not. We are wide open.
Yeah.
Now, paramotors can only be operated between the hours of sunrise and sunset, unless you have an anti-collision device, strobe light. Then you can fly 30 minutes before sunrise and 30 minutes after sunset. And again, like I said, that's where most of my flights take place. Your strobe must be visible for at least 3 miles. Your strobe can be either mounted on your person, your motor, your wing. It just needs to be visible to other aircraft, and that's the big deal there. There's lots of strobes out there. There's lots of good companies.
Absolutely. You have a strobe that mounts on your helmet.
I built it.
Yeah. We have a strobe that you've put on students when it's getting close to sunset.
Yeah, I have a little magnetic strobe that I hook up to their wing.
That goes on the wing. We have another pilot that flies with us that his entire hoop is lined with
LEDs.
With LED lights that kind of light up in a running circle when he turns it on.
And that's really common in the industry. In fact, you can go to certain companies and get setups for paramotor LED lights that go around your frame. And,
there was even an LED prop.
Yep.
Not too long ago. I don't know if I would want one of those because I'd be really pissed off if I broke that.
Yeah, they were expensive, and they didn't really take on. I know a couple of guys that.
I think
flew
it's
with
because
them,
everybody breaks a prop.
Yes, you will
And
break a
if you
prop.
spent $800 or you spent several $100s on this light up prop and you have a butt landing or you have a bad landing or you do something horrible like drop your phone and it goes through your prop but if anything happens to your prop, you're out all that money. You still have to buy another prop because now you can't fly. So it was a cool idea, but I don't think it's logistically there yet.
I agree.
My space buttons keep hitting our background, and I'm sorry for that.
I'm checking out the.
Yeah, that's why I keep looking down.
So Israel is from Namibia.
Namibia. And he is already a pilot in Africa.
Fantastic. Glad to have you, and glad you're out here. Why does it say my batteries running?
Hang on, we got minor technical difficulties here. So, yeah, but back to the statute mile thing, you need to be 3 statute miles. Needs to be visible. And so we just want to make sure that you're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing when you're flying. And all of this FAR 103, this is a class. This is part of ground school. And your instructor, if you decide that you're going to fly, you can self-train. It is allowed. No one recommends it. It's expensive because you're gonna mess stuff up. You're gonna break props. You're gonna mess up your hoops. You're gonna mess up your motor. You're gonna have problems that you could have avoided if someone had been there to help and kind of guide you through.
Also, I want to mention with that, there are dark spots in paramotor ways you can get yourself in trouble that are not intuitive or obvious, and having an instructor will help you with that.
Absolutely. Like me getting into the seat. That was my first, probably, I think it was 3 flights. My first 3 flights, I could not, for the life of me, get into my seat. In the simulator, I had no problem. As soon as I was in the air, I could not get into my seat. If I had been trying to figure that out on my own, I probably would have just quit flying because it was immensely uncomfortable.
I can only imagine. I've
It
had to
was-
fly around by my junk, and that's no picnic.
No, it's not. Yeah, let's just say I had bruises in places that women should not have bruises.
Yeah, yeah. So,
So I assume men don't really want bruises there either, but it was not. So stuff like that, like that's all. So you can self-train. It's not recommended. There is not anybody who's flying today who would tell you, yeah, go ahead and self-train. It was really common back before the US PPA and in the early days of the US PPA because there weren't very many instructors. So you would have to go.
no, everybody was doing it by fly.
Yeah.
I mean, by the fly. They
Yeah, everybody was.
excuse the pun, but they were figuring it out as they were going because the sport was so brand new. There was no standard.
Absolutely. And that's part of what the US PPA has done for us is it's created a standard. So whether you come to us or you go to an instructor in a different state or like Israel from Namibia was asking about instructions in Florida, you're going to get lessons on FAR 103. It's not going to look exactly like the one that we're showing you today because each instructor has their own kind of presentation. But that is something that you need to be aware of because those are the laws that apply to us as paramotorists in the United States. I almost said in Wichita and the United States. But so yeah, that's very important.
So yeah,
Technical difficulties averted.
we are clean here.
Good. I don't like taking over all the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of the dark spots in paramotor, there's things if you try to train on your own, you run a higher risk of injury because there's things that you just don't know.
They're not obvious.
Yeah. Things like not being able to get into your seat and not having an instructor who can help make sure that you're properly hang tested. Which is to make sure that you're when you are in the air that your motor hangs at the correct angle so that you can get in and out of your seat. And you don't have things like parachutal stalls and bad, there's a lot of things that get avoided because you hang tested correctly.
On top of that, equipment. So, having equipment sized for you, being on the proper wing is extremely important.
It is. We've now had 3 students over the course of Wichita Paramotor who bought something online and then came out and they can't fly it.
And it's horrible. I feel so bad.
Yeah, because
telling
they've
somebody,
spent $2,000 to $5,000 on this paramotor set, and I think the saddest one was the kid that he shows up. He's got a wing, he's got a motor, he's got a harness, he's got everything. Wing's too small for him. It's never gonna pick him up off the ground. It was a kiting wing. It was not
It's not meant for flight.
Yeah, it wasn't a flight wing. The motor was okay. It was an Atom 80.
No, it's
And-
the top 80.
Oh, it was a top 80. So the motor was okay. It wasn't really the right one for him, and it was on an older frame. So
It was high hang.
yeah, it was a high hang point frame, and honestly, most paramotors come with swing arms now. So there was that. Literally about the only thing that fit him was the kiting harness and the helmet. And
He was disappointed.
he was, and that's why, like here at Wichita Paramotor, anyway, even if you're not our student, and even if you decide to self-train, because we do have a kind of a finishing program for self-training, so that you can get your US PPA ratings. So if you decide that you're going to self-train, you can still contact us, and we'll help you make sure that all your skills are up and all of
I'll
that.
even help you get equipment.
Yeah.
Don't buy equipment without talking to somebody that knows what they're doing.
And that's what I was getting
And
at
you don't have to
is,
buy equipment through me. If you're looking at something online or used, call me, message me. Hey, Leo, this is my size. I'm thinking about this. And I go as far as contact the seller and make sure what they're selling is up and up.
yeah.
Because, there's some people out there that absolutely take
And
advantage of people.
we've saved a current student from, it was a really good, looks like a really good deal on Marketplace. And he was like, man, I really want to buy this. And so
Cash in hand.
cash in hand. And so the arrangement was to have the seller meet our student and Leo, and it became fairly obvious when they met that the motor is, you said, the oldest model year motor 81, 85 you've ever seen.
Yes.
So it was, but unfortunately what that means is that technology is outdated, because this is a sport that's still developing, so technology
No clutch.
moves fast.
No clutch on it. The frame was held together with zip ties and duct tape, and I'm not kidding. And the other side, the seller had picked up this equipment thinking he was going to fly. And he actually come to us, checked out the sport, and I'm all for this. He made the decision, this is not for me, so I need to sell this equipment.
Mm-hmm.
The poor guy paid as much for that dilapidated motor, and the wing was 2018 with no inspection. I mean, it was a good wing, it was still crispy, but I don't care. It's 2018, it needs to be inspected.
Yeah.
So there's no inspection report for the wing. The motor was in bad shape, like I said, zip ties and duct tape. It didn't have a clutch, where you can fly without a clutch, but for new people, I really recommend a clutch, because a spinning prop while you're trying to figure out how to bring lines up under a wing can be, a bad thing.
Right.
If you've got a prop spinning. So, this poor guy had bought this stuff and he was trying to get rid of it because he decided he wasn't going to involve himself in the sport. So he got taken advantage of in the beginning, because I guarantee, whoever sold him that stuff knew what they were doing.
Oh, yeah.
And
So he bought it, and then he looks into the sport, and then he decides he doesn't want it, and then he puts it up for sale, and then another student sees it and is like, hey, I'm interested. We still hadn't seen the motor. We'd met the guy, the seller, but we hadn't seen the motor. He didn't bring it with him the day, because we were like, yeah, you're not going to fly on your first day. So he didn't bring it with him. So when Leo came out, and looked at it and he was like, I'm really sorry, but I can't recommend buying this. This isn't going to be a good fit for a new student.
yeah, I just didn't find it safe.
I mean, he would have, if he'd paid for it, he would have had to replace the entire frame.
The hoop, at least.
Yeah, again, and it wasn't a Kanguk, so it's not, you can't just take a Kanguk and put it on another brand motor.
I've never seen that brand either, so I'm going to assume that they were out of business.
I don't know. The
and
seller has
getting-
no idea.
And getting parts would be virtually impossible.
Right.
Not to mention the harness was not capable of having a reserve put on it unless you do a lap mount coming from the swing arms. And I'll tell you, for new people, that's no good, because they're just kicking the reserve that's hanging down in front of them. And it just creates another aspect or hazard. So it was not something that was good.
So in all of this, what we're saying is, you're not required by the FAA or by FAR 103 to go get instruction. That is not a requirement. It is a recommendation.
Yep.
You should get an instructor. There are instructors in almost all 50 states now. There's instruction camps. You can go and do you can travel out of state and just do like a 10-day boot camp kind of thing.
We do one.
Yeah, we do one. There's plenty of places for you to find instruction. Most across the paramotor community, the pricing pretty well. Everybody stays pretty well
It's pretty
around the
standard,
same.
yeah.
So you're not going to be you
It's
know,
competitive to say the least.
it is. And there's beware of hidden costs. So when someone says they're offering free instruction, make sure that doesn't mean that you're paying for a bunch
Their
of other
lodging, their
stuff.
travel, stuff like that.
Their Michelin star meals and
Yeah.
so you know, like just be aware what you're getting into.
Don't
And
get fisted.
so if you are looking for an instructor, we recommend the USPPA because that is going to give you the best list of instructors. Because that
Yes.
gives you all of the USPPA certified instructors. Those are people who went through all of the USPPA ratings, they've gone to an administrator, and they've learned to be an instructor from the USPPA.
On top of that, when you go to the USPPA and look at their listing, you can see how many people basically that they put in the air. Now, not everybody gets a USPPA rating. I've had several students that just don't care. I just want to fly. I don't care about ratings, anything like that. But you can look and see how many ratings they've issued, and it will tell you, give you an idea of how long they've been training, how many people they put up.
Yeah, and
You
it's
know.
the default setting on that list is most ratings to least ratings, and then you can sort it by location.
State. Yeah, you can sort it by
So
state.
you can choose, they even have a map, you can just click on your generalized area and it will tell you where to find an instructor. So you don't have to have an instructor. We recommend an instructor. Everybody recommends an instructor. It's going to save you a lot of money. It's going to save you a lot of injury. It's going to save you a lot of frustration. And it's going to make sure that you're safer. And it's also going to put you in a position where you can go to a fly-in and no one doubts your skills because you have the USPPA ratings proving that you have demonstrated those skills for an instructor.
Yeah. So in this short, an instructor is the best way to go. It keeps you safest, you get the most information, and you generally get ratings out of it. So again, we are good at getting off topic here.
Sorry.
I want to go ahead and go back to FAR 103. So as we talked before, while flying a paramotor, you must see and avoid other aircraft. Head on a swivel. You know, it is our responsibility, not theirs. And something I want to mention, there is IFR and VFR. IFR is Instrument Flight Reference. So the thing that's scary about this is that if you're not paying attention, say you're at a higher altitude or near an airport where you have permission, IFR pilots are not looking out to see where they're flying. They are looking down at their instruments because that is telling them where they're at, how fast they're going, where the runway is. They are looking down. They're not looking out. And it is your responsibility to see them and get out of the way. So VFR is visual flight reference, like us, we see and avoid. That's why we can't fly at night. But also we cannot fly in a way that could cause a collision hazard. Duh. Don't be stupid.
Don't fly
play
like a
chicken.
jackass.
And don't play chicken with aircraft. I mean, it's just, not only is it dangerous and deadly, but you're gonna get in trouble. We yield the right of way to all other aircraft, even unpowered paragliders. We're the bottom on the totem pole, and one of the reasons why is because we are the most maneuverable. And like unpowered regular paragliders, they don't have a motor, so they can't go around.
Right.
If
They are
need
on the
to-
descent. They can't ascend and make it other pass.
Right, we can, because all we have to do is just give gas in our motor and we can go around. They cannot. So we do not get in the way of any other aircraft, including ourselves. Now, you can fly close to people, close proximity, wing touches, stuff like that, but y'all work that out before you fly, or y'all know what's going on because you're on comms. We are the most maneuverable vehicle in the sky, so we yield to everyone. If you see another aircraft in close proximity, gain altitude, bear right. Most pilots are trained to do the same, just like we talked about before. So keep it simple.
Yeah.
You know, fly in an appropriate manner. If you think it's stupid, don't do it. You think I made my point there?
I sure hope so. Owl kicker.
Owl kicker. Now also, you okay? Get an owl in your throat?
Yeah.
So, another part of FAR 103, congestion is defined very loosely, again, like hazardous, by the FAA. Do not fly over congested areas. Clustered features on the ground can be considered congested, such as buildings, farm equipment, people, and even livestock, like we talked about before. We cannot fly over open air assemblies of persons either. So again, you can't fly over the football game, you can't fly over the reunion, you can't fly over the people on the beach. That means you can't fly over the reunion. Football game, you must obtain an FAA waiver 30 days prior to do so. And again, like we were talking about, the FAA wants us to reach out. The FAA wants us to do the right things. They do not, absolutely do not want to come clean up our mess.
Yeah.
So,
And that's obtain a waiver. That's not ask for a waiver.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
you
that's
have to
actually
get the
getting-
waiver. You
get
have to have the
waiver.
FAA tell you, yes, you may do this.
Yeah, you don't, just because you filled out some paper online, nobody contacted you, does not mean you've got a waiver.
Yeah.
So, stay vigilant. So paramotors cannot fly in controlled airspace, such as Class A, as we said, altitude, Class B, busy, Class C, commercial, Class D, military, Class E with lateral boundaries to the ground. Now, we will explain that. It's on the sectional, and we'll explain that in our airspace episode, which I think we're going to do here pretty quick.
Yeah.
But we cannot fly there without permission. Unless you have prior authorization from the ATC, Air Traffic Control, that has jurisdiction over that airspace. We can fly almost anywhere if we have the proper permission. So you can fly some airports, but reach out to that airport administrator and, get permission. Don't just go.
Sure. Like, for example, we fly at Norwich Municipal Airport. The airspace is good, and we have permission.
Yep.
We're both.
Yeah. And actually, where we fly, we don't need permission, but
we have it.
We got it anyways, so that everybody was aware, right down to EMS. So,
And
be
we're not the
smart.
only paramotorists that fly out of that airport.
No.
We just have,
PVCs,
yeah.
hang gliders, powered hang gliders. There's all kinds of ultralights. Because of us, we've kind of turned it into a little ultralight airport.
Yeah,
But
we
get
got to
GA
see a
as
couple of
well.
experimental
Yeah.
ultralights that flew out just because they heard that we were doing stuff. So they flew out, and we all pull up to the airport, and he's anchored out in the field, and we're like, dude, what is that?
That's cool.
So it was a whole lot of us looking over his machine and him coming over and looking over ours.
Yeah, it was, we like having new people out at the field.
Absolutely.
So paramotors cannot fly in restricted areas, but you can gain access to some of these areas if you have proper permission before flying. Before flying in these areas, get a receipt, like an email or a paper that states your written permission. So if anything goes on, you've got proof that you were given permission to fly there. That way, if there's ever an issue, you can prove it. Remember, cover your butt. We're all in this together. Don't be the person that screws it up for everybody else. Again, there will be...
He means don't be that guy. Nobody likes that guy. Don't be that guy.
They are going to impose more regulation on us in the future. In fact, a couple
Sure.
of years back, when delivery drones were getting very popular, we got an email from the FAA that basically said, hey, we're looking at changing some airspace and whatnot. And the nice thing about it is they asked for our feedback. Now, this hasn't gone anywhere. We haven't seen any regulation changes.
There's a couple
But it's
areas
gonna
where,
come.
like test areas, where they've been doing it pretty regularly, and I understand that the people there hate them.
Yeah.
They hate the drones. They hate them. They're noisy. They're disruptive. They've been sawing off the top of treetops, and they bump into people's chimneys. Like, they're not
Yeah, so we will get further.
completely unmanned drone. And I understand a drone is unmanned, but there's a difference between the photographer guy that's flying the drone while he's on the field and has eyes on it and he's watching it, and the guy sitting behind a computer in a call center flying it.
Not even that. Those drones are they're fully automated. They pick it up, they put in a flight plan, and they hit a button and the drone goes. The drone is completely on its own.
Well, that explains why it
and-
keeps shaving trees.
Yeah, so, as technology develops, as airspace gets busier, as population goes up, we will get more legislation. But again, if we do the right things and we pay attention and we don't fly like, dummies, we will always have input. The FAA does care what we think. They just don't want to mess with us in a negative fashion.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be the one that messes it up for everybody else, okay?
So now let's talk about NOTAMs and TFRs. A NOTAM is a notice to airmen or air missions. Check up-to-date airspace maps to make sure you don't violate a NOTAM. And a NOTAM is usually just a situational warning. You can't fly here on these days because of this situation.
Right.
Now, also, the very important one, and this is no joke, is TFRs, temporary flight restrictions. So it could be because of a visiting dignitary like the president. It could be because of a natural disaster like what happened in Palisades.
Yeah, the flooding in Texas was a TFR.
Yeah, so they put these up because they're important people, whether it be EMS or politicians or even a music star, flying in can cause a TFR.
Yeah.
So do not violate TFRs, and again, these will be on your current sectionals. Always have an up-to-date sectional. That's the map
And
that
that
you
goes
look
for
at.
drone pilots too.
Yes, it does.
TFRs and NOTAMs apply to you too.
Yes. NOTAMs and TFRs can pop up anytime. Always be aware of your airspace and check it before you fly, and that's very, very important. We're lucky enough that I can take a glance at the map because of where we're at and know there's no TFR. We're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I would be very surprised.
It
if
would
we get
probably be a
TFR.
natural disaster.
Yeah,
Or,
absolutely.
well, that's not true. There is a TFR, or there's a NOTAM during the hot air balloon festival.
Yeah, but that's not even near us.
No. Well, not.
But we go fly it and we observe the NOTAM.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right. Next one, this is pretty simple. Paramotor pilots must stay clear of clouds. So in some airspace, you can fly up and kick a cloud, but you can't go in it. So at no time can you fly through a cloud. Depending on airspace and altitude, those cloud clearances will change drastically. We'll explain when we do the airspace class, but you have rules of how high above you can fly a cloud, how far below you can fly a cloud, and how close to the side or to the side to side that you can fly a cloud. Again, we will go over these requirements in the airspace portion of ground school. We must also fly with visual reference to the surface. We need to always be able to see the ground no matter what. This means fog as well. So, again, like I was talking about, if there's breaks in the clouds and you can see the ground, you're fine.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it's like you guys were talking about it last week, the night of the fog at the 2023 EFD. It was, or I guess it was the morning of the fog. The fog looked pretty thin from the ground.
and it was kind of broke up.
And there were breaks in it, so it appeared to be safe. Everybody got up into the air and realized that was an optical illusion. There are no
Was,
breaks in the
fact,
fog.
The fog closed in and got denser.
Yeah, that's
And
what it
then-
was.
And then pilots are scrambling to get out of the air because one, they're violating FAR 103. Two, not being able to see the ground is some scary stuff.
Yeah, because it was,
You'd have no
instead
idea.
of burning off, the fog intensified. And so we had I had the truck, and I had a waiting list.
With people we had to go pick up.
Can you come get me? 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 And I'm like, yeah, as soon as I pick up, so and so, and then I'll come pick up who's the what's it, and then you're next, and then we all have to go pick up, Jim Bob over there.
Yeah,
it was pretty wild, but it was when everybody took off. The fog was broken up. It looked to be pretty thin. We could actually see through it in multiple places. So it was a safe time to take off. And then once everybody got in the air, all of that changed. And so it was time to come back down.
And the other part of that is coming through the fog. You don't know if you're going to come down on power lines, some building.
In the middle of a cow field.
Middle of a cow field. We got cows!
I gotta go. I got cows.
So, flying through clouds is very dangerous. In other words, also because other aircraft cannot see you, strobe or not, they're not going to see you.
Yeah.
And again, if they are IFR, they're not looking up. They're looking at their instruments, especially if they're in a cloud bank. So, because planes can fly through clouds, we can't. So we stay absolutely away from them. Again,
You have to be able to see the ground.
Visual clearance or visual reference with the ground. So let's go on to the next. Now, this is very important. When it comes to agents of the FAA, we must always be willing to let them inspect our equipment and be respectful. Now, and this usually happens if you've done something wrong. So don't do it wrong. Nobody's going to inspect your stuff. We can land anywhere if we have an emergency, but we must be able to prove the issue. In other words, if you land or fly in controlled airspace, you must be able to show them why. FAA, for the most part, does not want to deal with paramotors. So again, keep it clean, be safe, respectful, and follow the rules. They do not want to mess with us.
They don't. They want us to be able to just go be sport pilots and go have some fun up in the air and don't be a thorn in their side.
Yep.
That's it.
They're always there to help, but they do not want to clean up a mess.
Yeah. Don't become the handful of goat's head stickers that they got to pick out of their shoes. Okay?
Right.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. So again, just always follow the rules, and you won't have to deal with those kind of things. Now, ways to avoid an issue with the FAA. Again, one of the instructors I trained with, he called this get out of jail free cards. And basically, I had an emergency. I had to land there. There was a problem with my motor or wing. Again, you must be able to prove it, especially like if you land in a TFR or land in a Class B airport without permission. You must be able to prove why. Visual reference to the ground or clouds. From where I was sitting, in my perspective, it looked clear, but I could see from the ground how it might have appeared differently. So, if somebody or an FAA agent sees you flying like, hey, he can't see the ground, or another pilot actually complains. Again, we keep visual reference, but from the ground, it doesn't look like the same as from the air.
Yeah.
Proximity, some lady complains, he flew over my house and scared my gerbil. Um, I have GPS and or camera. I can prove I didn't break the rules. So, we use Gaggle, and Gaggle's very accurate when it comes to where we fly.
Yeah, Gaggle will track your flights.
I avoid houses, I fly around them, and you can see it on my Gaggle flight where I've flown around an object. Again, we cannot fly over congested areas, and a house is considered congested, so don't mess up. The last thing here, and I actually think this is pretty cool, it's the NASA report. So just simply to say, if you do something stupid and you know you've done it or you've broken the rules, contact NASA. They have a whole questionnaire and a way to file a report. And you tell them what you did, how you did it, and why you think it's wrong. And if you are contacted by the FAA, 9 times out of 10, you can say, hey, I've submitted a NASA report, and they will be the liaison for this investigation. So, basically you told you're on yourself, you know you did wrong, and, it's an easy way to admit a mistake without a lot of backlash.
And that helps the FAA
Absolutely.
immensely because it's less paperwork because there's already a report.
Yep.
So it's less for them to have to deal with. So do the NASA report, and then when the FAA comes and goes, all right, we got this complaint that this incident occurred, you can go, well, I've already filed my report with NASA, they're handling it, and FAA goes, cool, because that means we don't have to.
Right. So, that's an easy way to take care of things. So, big thing, the big takeaway from FAR 103, it's not for you. It's for others on the ground and around you to keep them safe from harm. Flying is your personal choice, not others. Be safe and stay safe. Oh, don't be a dick. So we call it DBAD. It's very important that you, consider others with what you're doing. Be respectful, use common sense. It's not going to limit your fun.
Check your main character energy at the door, please.
Right. The only way it's going to ruin your fun is if you like to upset and hurt others. So,
Yeah.
the nicer we are to one another, the more we will get out of this sport. Safety and smiles should be second nature. So even if somebody comes up to you complaining, don't start being an ass.
Yeah.
Keep a smile. Hey, I understand what's going on. Let me see how I can help. I apologize. I'll do better.
Yeah, I mean, we've, like the farmer that approached, he was really upset. And I mean, his concern is his concern. His concern isn't paramotors.
And
His
it's
concern,
valid.
he has a valid concern. It is disturbing his animals. That's a problem. The farmer is the steward. He's the responsible one for the animals. So he comes to us and he's upset, and everybody went, oh man, okay, where are you located? Where's your field? And then he's standing there when the airfield boss turns around and goes, okay, everybody, when you're flying over in this direction, you must stay above, what do you say, 150 feet, 200 feet, 300 feet. So he's like, you have to stay above 300 feet. It's disturbing the animals. And everybody went, oh, okay.
Yeah, he was,
So-
seeing that really changed his attitude.
Yeah.
He was there ready for a fight.
Well, yeah, I'm sure he thought, because it's, and we do see that a lot. We see people that come up and they're like, I don't want you flying around my farm. I don't want you flying around
My house.
whatever.
I don't want you foot dragging my field.
Yeah, stay away
Okay.
from don't slalom my hay bales, whatever. And they come up and they're expecting pushback. They're expecting somebody to be like, well, we can do whatever we want. And don't be the guy. Don't be the guy that does that. You can't do whatever you want. that's being a dick. So don't be a dick. Don't be that guy.
Don't be a dick.
So, D-bad, when somebody comes up to you and says, hey, I saw you guys slaloming around my hay bales and I don't like it, just say, okay, which field is yours so that I know which one to avoid in the future.
And that's the other thing. I'm not even going to try to educate him that I can legally do that. And because I'm not touching the ground, I'm not trespassing, he has no jurisdiction, it doesn't matter.
Now, we keep the...
That we did that at
Jinx.
the same time, Jinx.
So we keep the USPPA has a brochure for landowner rights, and it explains to them what their rights are and also provides a waiver because we have had farmers that come up and they don't want us anywhere near their field because of potential liability. So, and that's understandable because that's on them. That's their land. Liability is something that they need to be concerned about on their own property, and just like you do in your own house. So we keep those brochures on hand. So when we have someone that comes up and goes, I don't know if I want you guys around my field, we can say, well, here's we understand, tell us which field, and here's a brochure. Feel free to ask us any questions. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and avoid your field as much as possible. Please understand if there is an emergency, someone may have to land in your field, but that's not on you. That's on their emergency. But, we try to be really respectful, and I would say probably 9 times out of 10, the ones that don't have livestock that they're concerned about are more than happy. They'll kind of flip through it, and they're like, what's, because on the back of that brochure is a waiver. They're like, what's this? And we're like, if you're really concerned about liability, we can all sign that waiver. And that releases you from liability if we do end up on your land. And, if we are if you give us permission to foot drag your field, then we can all sign that waiver so that you're not held liable for us doing stunts on your field effectively.
Right.
And I would say, 9 times out of 10, unless they have animals that they're concerned about. If they have animals, it's a whole different ballgame. Because then the liability isn't just about us, it's about the animals that they are the stewards of. So, but when they don't have animals, 9 times out of 10, they're like, oh, well, that's pretty cool. I mean, I guess we do kind of like watching you guys. I was just concerned, like, I don't want somebody to be slaloming a hay bale and like slam into the side of it. Those things aren't soft.
Right.
So they tend to be pretty, but you come at it with respect, and you come at it with the understanding that they have a concern because they don't know. And you don't need to explain it to them. Or...
Well, you can
I'm gonna
explain
use
it to
the
them,
bu-
just don't be it in a way, well, I can because.
Yeah.
Well, hey, look, I'm absolutely going to respect what
Instead
you
of
got.
explaining what your rights are, explain what their rights are.
Exactly.
And that gives them it's, okay, I understand you don't want me flying around your field. I've got this brochure. It explains all of your rights with regards to what we're doing. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. We really like flying around your hay bales. It's kind of cool how how you've got them all laid out. We enjoy it, but if you don't want us there, that's okay.
Yep.
We will respect that because that's what this sport is all about. It's about having fun and respecting others. That's what we do.
So, big thing on this, and I put it in the last little part of this presentation. Happy flying.
Happy flying.
Enjoy yourselves. Be good to others. Be good to yourself. Stay safe. Keep safety and other people's condition in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You chose to fly, they didn't. So don't impose something on them that they don't want. So overall, have fun. This sport is an absolute blast, and FAR 103 is not here to hold you down. It's here to protect the people around you and also protect you from liability.
Mm-hmm.
So enjoy yourself. Flying is fantastic. So on that, if you are looking to learn how to fly, reach out to us, Wichita Paramotor. We're on Facebook. We're on Google. We're on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Send me a message. You can also reach me at 316-990-0482. Go to our website, wichitaparamotor.com, and throw a question out there. Even if you're not in my area, I will help you find an instructor locally. If you're looking to buy equipment and whatnot, even if you're going to self-train, I'll help you. I'll help you get that equipment. I'll help you buy something that's safe for you. I'll help you with a little bit of the education. I can turn you towards the US PPA Bible, which is probably a fantastic tool for somebody who's going to self-train. So again, if you want to learn how to fly, reach out to us, Wichita Paramotor, 316-990-0482, or find us on the web at wichitaparamotor.com.
Today's paramotor shirt.
Got Sky.
Got Sky, and it's a little paramotor dude.
Yeah.
That's actually a photograph, and I cropped out the background. I had to re-add in the lines so they're not accurate, but you get the gist.
Yeah. So also
Available on wichitaparamotor.com.
we need to real quick go pay the bills.
Yep.
So I want to invite everybody real quick to join me.
I'm doing that wrong. Oh, there it is.
To join me to go to kangookamerica.com. If you are looking for a paramotor or a paramotor accessory, Kangook America is probably one of the best in customer service and support that you could probably need. They are really good at taking care of the customers. These are well-made machines, made by skilled craftsmen, and I consider them to be one of the most modular machines on the planet, because I used to stick mine in a Kia Soul. So again, it's kangookamerica.com. Reach out to them. Also, if you mention Wichita Paramotor, give me a second to pull this up. If you mention Wichita Paramotor, coast to coast, you'll get free shipping on any order over $99. So again, the promo code, you can type this in if you're just doing electronic purchase, is coast to coast. And again, that'll get you free shipping on any order over $99. So go check out Kangook America. They are fantastic. And I fly mostly Kangooks. I've flown some other machines, quite a few other machines, and I'll tell you, my Kangook is my go-to. So go check them out. Also, we want to, bear with me here, this is a one-man show, at least on the technical
Really is.
side.
I've got nothing to do with the technical. I'm just here to distract you. As you can see, we have this wonderful banner behind us that was printed by JDW Vinyl and Beyond. They are one of our sponsors. We'll get to them in just a second. And you can see we have Kangook America, we have Light Flight, and we have Wichita Paramotor.
Well, speaking of Light Flight, let's go check them out. So Light Flight is a Vitarazi importer and provider. The new MY25s on Vitarazi motors are out, and I'm telling you right now, they are sexy. And they also have the EFI. Also, any support parts, anything like that you need, maintenance kits, Light Flight will have them for you. Also, they sell props, accessories, personalization items,
Helmets, harnesses, reserves,
reserves,
wings.
helmets, harnesses, throttles, flight suits. If you need it, they've got it. So again, go check out lightflight.us and let them know that Wichita Paramotor Coast to Coast sent you. So again, if you need any Vitarazi products or Vitarazi support, or just some accessories, lightflight.us. Now, the other one I really like to promote, now this one, they are not a sponsor, which I hope to have them someday, but this is very important to me because this is where I got my training. This is the standard that I train with, and this is how I become an instructor. And if you're a new person that's out there looking to fly and you don't know where to get started, how to find an instructor, or what it's like, what the deal is, what's the rules, go to usppa.org. Again, that's usppa.org. And they have so many resources on here, it's absolutely ridiculous. So let's say you want to find a school real quick, right up here at the top, find a school, click on that, and right there is all the rated schools with the USPPA, and there's several pages. Now, say you're in a particular state like Texas. You can go to Texas. If I can find Texas. I miss Texas. Where the hell is Texas?
Way down there. Should be in alphabetical order now.
There it is. I'm dyslexic. So if you go to Texas, click in there, click search. Searching. Everybody that is in Texas, with including their ratings, who they are, how to contact them, websites and everything will be on that page. So you can find a school by state.
By state, yeah.
So, you don't have to travel forever to be able to fly. Also, resources.
Under the PDF brochures is where we find the landowner's brochure, and the just kind of general about powered paragliding, about PPG. But the landowner brochure has and it's a printable PDF. The landowner one explains what PPG is, not as in depth as this one, but it also explains what the landowner's rights and responsibilities.
Oops. I'll show off the landowner one here.
And there's the waiver that would come out if you trifold it, that comes out onto the back of the trifold.
So this tells them everything about the paramotor, how it works, a little bit about the rules when we fly, and again, there, if you all can see my mouse, there is the waiver portion. So this is actually a tool as well as educational. So, like I said, if you want to learn how to fly a paramotor, you want to find out about paramotors, you know somebody that's flying a paramotor and you want to learn more, usppa.org. Again, go check them out, and hey, you might even throw them a little note and let them know that Wichita Paramotor Coast to Coast is talking about them.
Absolutely. With that, we had a comment earlier today from Israel, from Namibia, asking where he can find instructors in Florida. And I had commented back, this is where you would do that. So he can go on to find a school, he can sort by Florida, and then depending on where he's going to be located in Florida, because I don't know where he's traveling to, he can choose one of the instructors there that just to contact and go from there. He can find the right one that suits his needs and his travel plans appropriately.
And that's very important. I mean, access is one of the big parts of this show that we try to help you with. This show isn't geared for seasoned pilots. This show is geared for the new person that has no clue and wants to learn more. There's lots of videos on YouTube. Some of the stuff can be confusing, but we are here to educate you, answer questions, and help drive the sport. I'd love to fly with you someday. If you're brand new, you're trying to figure it out, you're thinking of flying, reach out to us.
Yep.
Because we will be glad to help you out. And again, go to Wichita, man, that was loading slow.
There it goes.
WichitaParamotor.com. And, again, if things don't seem simple, you need some help finding some equipment, new or used. You just want to ask some questions, kind of test the waters. Again,
Once you got Sky shirt.
yeah. WichitaParamotor.com, 316-990-0482. Little screen will pop up here, ask you how we can help. Message me. You can message me directly right here at this screen. So we want to help. We want to develop the sport with you. We want you to have a good time. This is a fantastic sport. This is a great outlet. We want you to fly. There's no
Yeah.
competition here. The more people we get in the air,
The more fun we get to have with
and
more
not only
people.
that, the more notoriety we get to the sport.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with that,
Ladies' personal challenge, there are more female pilots in the UK than there are in the US, so I think we should do something about that.
yes, I agree.
Just saying.
Not to
And
be bad,
he does
but
discounts for the ladies.
I
I'm
do
just
do a
letting you
female
know.
discount, absolutely. And, to tell the truth, it's kind of a sausage fest out there.
It can be. There are more and more female pilots, and most of it, well, every female pilot I've met can hold her own with the boys, but we are still with the boys. There's not really enough of us to be just to have our own. There's a few like ladies who fly groups, but we're kind of spread out. So we need more ladies who fly,
Yep,
and we like flying together as a couple.
absolutely.
We have two sets of father and son, so it's the family that flies together stays together, right?
Right. So again, if you want to learn more, wichitaparamotor.com, or again, give us a call at 316-990-0482, or you can email us at ictppg@gmail.com. Again, that's ictppg@gmail.com. So we'd love to hear from you. There's no dumb questions. So
Yeah.
reach out to us if there's anything we can help with. I would be glad and honored to be able to help somebody get into the air.
You bet.
So,
Our final sponsor of the day is JDW Vinyl and Beyond. They are on Facebook, and if you use Coast to Coast as their discount, they're doing 15% off
15% off.
your whole order. So that is JDW Vinyl and Beyond. They are the second comment in our podcast today, in the comment section on Facebook today. So please be sure you click on them, throw them some love. For all of your printing needs, he can make T-shirts, he makes
Hats,
banners, hats,
cups, pens,
pens, promotional items for your small business,
tumblers,
business cards, all of it.
yeah,
Just all of it.
print media.
All of it.
He does it all.
He does, and he does a great job, as you can see from the lovely banner behind us. So,
Well, and on top of that, I want to mention his customer support.
oh yeah, his customer support is
So,
over the top. Excellent.
I want to say, and this is absolutely nothing towards the quality, but one of my banners wasn't right the first time. I had an issue with it. And I'll tell you, you'll talk to Justin. Justin did not argue with me. He did not talk back. He did not justify. He says, okay, man, we'll fix it. Tell me what you want. And at no charge, he fixed the issue that I had and took care of me. So again, JDW and Beyond, JDW Vinyl and Beyond, they are fantastic. He's again kind of a one-man show, and he works his tail off. He's got some health issues and stuff like that, but he still puts out a fantastic
Absolutely.
product. Like I said, look at this. This banner behind us is absolutely clean and beautiful.
And it's
we
shop
couldn't
small,
wait to
shop
have it.
local.
Yeah, shop local. We couldn't wait
can-
to have this thing.
He can ship all 50 states.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. But he is local to our Wichita area, so we're all about supporting other small businesses in our community. So we would like you to help us do that.
But no matter where you are in the U.S., he can support whatever you need. So JDW Vinyl and Beyond. Check them out on Facebook and let them know that you found them on Wichita Paramotor Coast to Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So that is pretty much today's show, don't you think?
I think so. I hope you enjoyed your unofficial official FAR 103 ground school class today.
And it too, that's the same, literally the same class that I teach my students. It's simple, it's easy. We don't get too crazy about it. And
I'd say with fewer asides, but he's just as bad when I'm not here to distract him. So
yeah, well, especially when I got a room full of people and everybody's cracking jokes, and
yeah,
so.
yeah.
But
We always have fun, even when we're in class.
right. FAR 103 is out there to protect the people on the ground and whatnot, and it's to help you release from liability. Check where you fly, pay attention, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be that guy, don't harass wildlife or other people. Have a blast doing what you can do, and understand that FAR 103 gives us tons of freedom, and because of that we can fly like 98% of the US.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you guys enjoyed.
Stay safe. D-bad.
Yep, D-bad, don't be a dick. So I hope you enjoyed our show. Again, it's brought to you by Kangook America, Light Flight, and JDW Printing and Beyond, Vinyl and Beyond. So if you have any questions, again, if you want to reach out to us, Wichita Paramotor 316-990-0482, or find us on Facebook or the web at wichitaparamotor.com. Now also these podcasts go to YouTube, so run over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We could really use your support, and you'll be able to watch previous shows. Hit the like button if you like what you've seen today. Share it with others. My name is Leo Kiesling, and this is my beautiful co-host and wife, JL. We had an absolute blast hanging out with you today. Remember, be safe out there, have fun, and blue skies, everyone. Fly safe.